Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alicia Darleen for those of you that are new to my channel, and for those of you that have been following my whole pregnancy journey, my toddler journey, I just want to say welcome back. For those of you that are new, please like and subscribe to my channel. I try to come out with a new video every single week, just talking about whether it's my pregnancy experience, whether this one is going to be C-section versus vaginal birth, because I've had both. Just a whole wide range variety of baby slash toddler slash pregnancy stuff. So if that interests you at all, please like and subscribe. So like I said, this video in particular is going to be C-section versus natural labor, just because I have had both. With my first, I had a C-section because she was breech and my fluids were low. So the safest way for us to have the baby was via, C-section, just because like I said, she was breech. She had a pretty low chance of turning because she was already 37 weeks. My fluids were low. They're like, C-section it is. It wasn't like emergency C-section. It wasn't scheduled either. Just the day that we went in to, kind of get her checked out, they're like, you're not going home. Like, this is gonna happen today or tonight. So that was my experience with my first. She was 6 pounds 3 ounces, so she was a pretty small little baby, and she came via C-section. And then my second came, and I had just heard so many great things about vaginal birth, that I would be able to get up and walk and go to the bathroom and be myself right after giving birth. And I was like, you know what, I think I'm gonna try for a VBAC, or some providers will call it a TOLAC, so TOLAC, just a trial of labor after cesarean. So either one, your doctor will call it. And I really wanted to try for a VBAC because, like I said, I had heard so many great things about a vaginal birth, and that's the way that your body intended to have babies anyways. So I was like, if I'm able to, and baby is in good hands and I'm in good health and he's in good health, then I'm gonna try for a VBAC. And of course I knew that C-section is a possibility no matter what, because I feel like even if you have this great birth plan, that pretty much can go out the window most of the time. So I knew that C-section, a repeat C-section, is also very real possibility, but I wanted to try for the VBAC. So we had a successful VBAC. My baby boy, he's right here. He was 8 pounds 7 ounces, so he was a lot bigger. Me and my husband joke around like, why did I have to birth the big baby and then have a C-section for the little baby? Come on. But anyways, so that happened. I went all natural with the VBAC. We did get induced, so that's one thing that I tried not to do. I really tried to go into labor on my own. You could check out my birth story. I go into way more detail all about it. I also have a video about our birth story, from my husband and my perspective, so you can go check out that video too. But anyway, so I tried literally everything I could possibly do to go into labor on my own to not get induced, because they said if you're getting induced, it's gonna be harder and you're not gonna have, it's not gonna be as successful rate with your VBAC and all this stuff. So anyways, had to get induced. I still had the successful VBAC. My labor, I went in at 8 a.m. to go get induced. That morning it was 40 weeks and 1 day. They gave me the Pitocin. Pretty much everything started kicking off right away. My body was ready to go into labor. I had crazy contractions because with my first, I was having contractions when I got to the hospital before the C-section, but it kind of ended quickly. I didn't know too much about the contractions because I hadn't really, experienced them. So they were intense, especially with the Pitocin. It was very intense with the contractions, and the whole labor took 6 hours with my vaginal birth. It went pretty well. They ended up taking me off Pitocin because my body was already going into labor on its own. They had to break my water, so after my water broke, things got intense after that. And then I was in this mode for 2 hours, were pretty intense. After they broke my water, I was in this crazy zone where I was not talking to anybody. I had my eyes closed. Like I said, I was just in this out-of-body experience going through this vaginal birth. I ended up turning over as soon as they're like, if you have the sensation that you need the restroom, like to poop, you need to call us because that means baby's coming. So I had the sensation, turned me around, they checked me. I was at a 9. They came back probably like 10 minutes later, checked me, okay, baby's coming, like they can see his head already. So then I pushed 3 times and like he shot out, which was great. I didn't have to push very long because for me that was like the most painful part of it. But with that, I did tear pretty bad. I actually had a 3rd-degree tear. So that sucked. With my C-section, you know, you don't have to go through any of that, any of the contractions, any of the pushing, any of that. Like the C-section, it seemed like it was easier the before, but then afterward I felt like it was kind of harder. So I feel like no matter which way you have the baby, vaginal or C-section, it's either like you're gonna feel the pain before or after. And vaginal is pretty much after too. It's just the difference I felt for me more was like the C-section, you go and you get like this spinal. So it's like an epidural. I didn't get the epidural, like I said, with my VBAC. I didn't get it. I went all natural. No pain med, but you know, the C-section was kind of just like a big surgery, you know, like you have to get prepped and you're alone and then your husband can come in later and then, you know, they just like surgically remove your baby. So I felt like that was easier than going through this crazy labor, and like I felt like I got beat up during this vaginal birth. It was just like really intense, and I really had to be prepared for it. And then the recovery with my vaginal was still pretty hard just because I had tore so bad and lost so much blood. I felt pretty weak to get up, but the same thing was with like the C-section. I couldn't get up right away. I needed lots of help. The only thing is with the C-section, yes, you don't have to go through all those crazy contractions and things like that, but you need so much help after. So I feel like the recovery was a little bit harder with the C-section just because I couldn't even lift my baby because, you know, you have this big, huge incision line from the C-section that I needed help to lift the baby up. Every time she would cry, I'd need help. Anytime I needed to take a shower, I would need help. Anytime I needed the bathroom, I would need help. I needed help just to put on like my pants, and you know, so that was really rough. With the vaginal birth, I of course still needed help, but I didn't need that much help. I didn't need help to lift the baby. I was able to lift him, put him on me. I didn't need help with that. Of course, I did need help a couple times when I would go to the restroom, the first like 1 or 2 times. After that, I was okay. The shower was nice after vaginal birth. The C-section, I got really lightheaded and I had to like kind of rush my shower just to go sit back down because like I said, I got really lightheaded and felt like I was gonna pass out in the shower. So there's just a whole bunch of different things. Like I said, I feel like you either feel it before or after. And with the vaginal birth, you do have to think about, you know, you have some trauma down there instead of like in your abdomen. So afterward, you have to use the peri bottle, you have to use the maxi pads because you're bleeding, you have to use like numbing spray, I forgot what it was called, and just a whole bunch of stuff. Like you're really caring for everything down there instead of like your incision line. So I just feel like, which one would I pick if I was gonna have, you know, the 3rd baby, or which one do I prefer? That's a hard one because they're both hard no matter what. Like labor is hard, delivery is hard, postpartum is hard. But if I was to do it again, to have my 3rd, I would probably have a vaginal birth again, just because like I said, with the C-section, it was a lot harder. I just needed help. I needed to rely on people more to help with the baby, to help lift her up. With the C-section, I was sleeping in the living room, or we all as a family were sleeping in the living room because I needed help to sit up. I didn't have those abdomen muscles. They were like pretty much just cut. Like I didn't have my core. So we sleep in the living room and I kind of lift my body up with the back of the couch, and that's how we slept in there for like a month or 2. And so I feel like, you know, now that I have 2, if I was to have a 3rd plus the newborn, you know, it'd be a lot harder with the C-section. So if I, you know, do go for baby number 3, I probably would do a vaginal birth, even though it was pretty rough. But hopefully, like, you know, like the 2nd vaginal birth for me, I hopefully wouldn't tear or lose blood. You know, I hope it would just be like smooth. Of course, that's what everyone's always hoping for, but that's just what I would hope for. So the vaginal would go more smoothly because I like to be more independent and just like feel better after birth. So that's why I would pick a vaginal birth again instead of a C-section. Just because I know I could do it again. I've already gone through it. I know, like, if you haven't had a baby yet or you haven't had contractions yet, you know, it's pretty scary. You don't know really what you're getting into. But when you're in the moment, you just have to stay focused on the end goal that you're gonna go home with the baby. So that's pretty much what I kept doing, and it got me through. So I hope this video was beneficial for you. Like I said, there's a lot of like ups and downs and this and that and benefits and risks and what you personally prefer and what your doctor and what's safest for you, and there's a lot that goes into choosing C-section or vaginal if you have the choice. So I hope this video was beneficial for you. I hope it kind of cleared some stuff up or gave you just more insight of what I personally went through with C-section versus vaginal. I was kind of just giving my experience of both, my experience of recovery. So like I said, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to my channel. And like I said, I go over pregnancy, I go over toddler stuff, when you should start introducing solids, I go over breastfeeding, all that crazy good stuff. So we hope to see you in the next video, and we'll see you next time.